Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
What's up, family? This is your brother, Mr. Holipsism. Today's topic is infrastructure can work for or against you. And I want to talk about this because I think there's a fundamental misunderstanding that people have when it comes to looking at power, looking at nationhood, understanding what infrastructure is. It's one of those things where you think people understand it and you think you've explained it, but they still have these ignorant viewpoints when it comes to how you obtain power, how you hold power, what power actually is, and how infrastructure relates to that. Now, what do I mean when I say infrastructure can work for you or against you? Well, let's start off with how it works against you here in the context of America. I've said this many times before. I'll say it again. If you don't control the infrastructure, then the entire system is against the individual. What do I mean by that? I notice there's a lot of people that want to grow their own food. There's a lot of people that want to homeschool. There's a lot of people that want to live off the grid. There's a lot of people that don't want their children to be vaccinated. There's a lot of things that they're doing that goes against what the system wants. And you can do that and you can live that lifestyle. There's a lot of people that don't pay taxes or don't want to pay taxes. But if you decide to do that, and that's perfectly all right if you want to. I mean, everybody has their own way of dealing with things. Like some people can bear more than other people. Because if you go against this system, then the system's going to push back against you, and the system is going to fight you and try to get you back in line. That's why you have like a lot of brothers in the conscious community living off of their woman or a family member, because they got to have one foot on solid ground and the other foot in the water. You know what I'm saying? They got to have somebody in their family that's legal. So that way they can get things behind the protection of that legal status. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them just, if you don't have a car, you don't have, like, everything is in everybody else's name, that's how you get around that. But that kind of cuts you off in terms of, people, first of all, people looking at you and having respect for you. Because if you have to rely on other people in order for you to maneuver and do things, and that, I don't care how much they love you, they're going to look at you kind of sideways and say, this dude ain't really, he's not really standing up and being a man on his own. Yeah, I hate to put it like that, but that's the way it is. So if you can't get your car in your own name, you can't insure your stuff in your own name, you can't rent an apartment in your own name, you don't have a credit card, you don't have a bank account, these are things that you can choose to do, but the system is fighting against you. It's a struggle for you to maintain that, because it's easier to just have those things. It's easier to maneuver in the system. And personally, like, in the beginning, I used to be, I mean, I know, how can I put this? Do you want to be right or do you want to be effective? Is the best way to put it. You know what I'm saying? Is it right that there's no law stating that you have to pay taxes? Yes. The problem is the whole system is engineered in a way that it forces you into that paradigm. It's like, I'm not telling you what to do, but you better do it. That's the that's the best way to put it, how the system works. So these things that you try to do as an individual, it's going to work against you. The system works against your culture, whatever culture you think, your indigenous culture, your African culture, your ancient cultures. You can practice that, and the system looks at it as cute. It gives you like the ability to practice that and, live that reality in your apartment, or maybe in a small enclave, or even on a piece of land here in America. But the bottom line is you're still subject to taxes and taxation. So you pay city, state, local taxes, and you pay federal taxes. No getting around that. So it doesn't really support your culture, it works against it. And I'm talking about for people that's not, if you don't consider yourself an American, because a lot of people in the conscious community, they reject America. They call it the America KKK with 3 Ks, and they always say stuff about America, and they talk about America, blah blah blah. But you live in here, and if you live here and you don't accept being an American, then this system is going to work against you. Bottom line. It also works against your empowerment. The American system wants to make the average person a thousandaire. It's not really interested in you being comfortable. It's not really interested in you obtaining wealth and being rich. It's not interested in that thing. What it's interested in is bleeding you dry, getting every bit of taxation it can from you so that the government can, exist with the hubris that it does. As long as you can pay, that's why they say a model citizen, you pay your taxes, blah, blah, blah. You don't give them no problems. It's just like, America is Negan. And, we're Rick and his group, the American public, Just pay your taxes, everything will be okay. If you decide that you're not going to give us your money, we're going to bash your head in with Lucille. That's just the way it is. Now, let's look at it when you control the infrastructure. If you control the infrastructure and your people control it, I should say, because when I say you, I'm talking about your people as a collective, then the system can be fertile soil for you as an individual because the system supports you. Your people are in charge. Your people aren't going to put a system of oppression against you, as long as you work in the interest of your people and the government works in the interest of the people. Now that's a tough one because Africa, as you can tell, we have people that look just like you, but it's an oppressive system. So I'm not just saying that just because you're black, everything's going to be all right. The system has to be configured in a way that the people have power within it. Now that's something that people have to really fight for because nobody's going to give you power. People want power, but people are not quick to spread power to people. So the people have to put people under pressure. Look at the French Revolution. The government in France is still terrified of its citizens because of that. And that's the way it should be. I believe that there should always be an uncomfortable level between the citizens and their government. It should never be so comfortable where the government feels like, oh, well, you can do anything, blah, 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 blah. No, there should always be that tension there that the citizens are forcing the government to work in their interest, and if they don't, there's going to be severe consequences. I believe in that. Another thing, when you control the infrastructure, the system is a support system for your culture instead of against your culture. If you arrange the system in a way that supports your culture, then you don't have to worry about if you want to homeschool like most of the stuff that people want to do in this system, they probably wouldn't even have to do in a system of their own because the the culture of the nation would be conducive to it. It would be like fertile soil for it. The reason why people want to homeschool is because they don't want to go to public schools to have their kids brainwashed or not really learn anything because they're just getting pushed through the system. I don't think our school systems would be like public schools. I think that it would definitely be the most highest level of education and quality education on the planet. You know, that's what I would perceive because I don't think we don't want to make America 2.0. We want to have something that's better and something that our people can be proud of and create a future for our people. That when we have kids, there's possibilities for those children. They can look to the future with hope instead of despair. So I think, you create a system of your own, then whatever system that you create will support that. And the system empowers you. You know what I mean? The system that you create will empower you. And like when I say you, I'm talking about us. Because I don't make no separation when it comes to this. We have to work together. We have to build something for our people. Individuals are important, but individuals exist for the whole. I've said this before, you're not an individual just for yourself. Our culture produces individuals so that we can solve problems because if you have different people and different individuals seeing things from different perspectives, it helps make the culture dynamic and the culture can problem solve. That's the purpose of an individual, not just to be an individual for yourself. That's total Western American thinking, European thinking. So, land and infrastructure leads to nationhood. This is why it's so important. This is why we talk about land, and this is why we talk about infrastructure. And this is the thing that I want people to understand. We don't want nationhood without land. If you want an example of that, just look at what situation is going on in Standing Rock. Which brings me to another point. We don't trust America's treaties. If America honors its treaties, then there wouldn't be a situation at Standing Rock. This is all based on the whim of whoever is in power in the American government at the time. Barack Obama, I think he just decided to stop a permit or something. I mean, just now after people's arms have been blown off and people have been bashed in their head and sprayed with cold water in the freezing weather, public pressure made him do something. And actually, that's what you have to do. Because it's not like these leaders are going to do anything without public pressure. They just want to be comfortable. They just want to take your money and be comfortable. So no, we don't want no nation within a nation. We don't want to be acknowledged as a nation by the U.S. government. Fuck the U.S. government and fuck their acknowledgement. We don't want our base of operation here in America. We want it out of their jurisdiction, out of their control. And like I said, the vast majority of us can stay here in America, but we have to establish our base of operations outside of America. So it's no different than Israel. Like I said, Israel is not in America. You know what I'm saying? China is not in America. Korea, not in America. Mexico, not in America. All of these ethnic groups have a homeland, and they do business and they do trade with that homeland, and that's how they can get goods dirt cheap and can sell it over here and make a shitload of money. We can do the same thing with our connection in Africa once we establish a home base in Africa. We can start connecting with our African brothers and sisters in various countries around Africa and start networking with each other and trading with each other. And then we can also trade with the diaspora. So there it is. Infrastructure can hurt you or it can help you. The question is, What do we want? What's our end game, as my good brother Minister DeWoo says? What is the end game? What do you want? Do you want a furnished house inside of your enemy's country? Or do you want to establish something on your own? And that way you can deal with your enemy on equal footing. You can be just like everybody, every other ethnic group in America. You can come here, you can do business, you can live here, you can enjoy all the things that America has to offer, but you got a plan B somewhere else. To me, it makes perfect sense. And if you're still listening to Captain America Negroes and Black Power Americans and militant integrationists who don't have a clue, don't know what land really means, don't know what infrastructure really means, and a damn sure don't know what nationhood means, then by all means stay here in America. Don't have your base in America. Try to get your nation within a nation here, and then you can be treated like the Standing Rock situation, the Sioux tribes. You can get treated like that. Stomped on, disrespected, and not a damn thing you can do about it except beg and plead for them not to do it. If that's what you want, if that's your end game, peace. And on that note, I'll holler at you good people later. Peace.